And welcome to the first archive thrifting episode of the year. Let's kick things off with a visit to our old standby, Savers. Admittedly, as of my shooting this, I hadn't set foot in this place in about 4 months. Let's see if the store hasn't gone to hell since I was here last. Trapped behind the mostly fake jewelry, we've got, by my standards, half a drum kit. All it needs is a cardboard box kick, and we're in business. Otherwise, yeah, someone donated their baby to Savers, and it's dead. People are sick. I know booze factors into this thing somehow. I'm just not sure I want to know how. But yeah, South Dakota white trashisms at their finest. I remember the good old days when Marshalls just sold clothes. I should have picked up this Dean Martin Christmas cassette. Not because it looks particularly good, but because, as it turns out, it would make it my oldest cassette. It's from 1966. Otherwise, I've discussed this one before. One song got dropped for the CD, so you still gotta hit up the records and tapes for the full album. Anyway, last year I mentioned I had been looking for an original VHS copy of Grumpy Old Men. The problem is there's no way of knowing until you play it. They actually had 2 copies of this, but this one seemed heavier, like older tapes tend to be, so I gave that one a shot. And yes, I grabbed Grumpier Old Men as well. And I just realized how dirty that sounds. Next to the L. Ron Hubbard audiobooks, this looked suspect. A 10 DVD set. These appear to be the quite common collectibles records, 10 songs apiece, I Love Rock and Roll cheapy oldies compilations, just repackaged, still on CD. I guess for the old geezers that say CD and DVD interchangeably. And the haul from Savers consists of 2 CDs, John Mellencamp's Scarecrow, which isn't a great album, but it's got a couple keepers, and it was the original West German-made CD. Then I replaced my Too Scratched to Save copy of the Time Life Treasury of Christmas double disc set. This is the original version they sold on TV way back when. Subsequent issues lose around half the songs. Otherwise, I grabbed VHS copies of the 2 Grumpy Old Men movies. Hopefully the original issues. I don't know, I guess it's just one of my demented little side quests. Well, since we're here, we might as well move 2 doors down to 605 Antiques. I still have some of that gift certificate from my birthday last year to burn, so let's give it a try. Hell, maybe we can find some more off-air VHS tapes. But I kinda doubt it. Well, I'm usually good for some cult and cult-ish tapes here, albeit usually way overpriced. Today, we've got America. Yeah, it was a long way down from Putney Swope for old Robert Downey Sr., wasn't it? I would pay thrift store prices for this, but that would be about it. Otherwise, they had a sealed, later Star Maker label copy of DEF CON 4. I'm really not big on the post-apocalyptic stuff. Anyway, when I was a kid, I had a copy of Wayne's World that was picked up for $3 or something with the purchase of a McDonald's extra value meal. And yes, this is one of those tapes. And it is mighty tempting to grab this one, even if it is a bit sun-faded on the spine. You know what? If I don't find something else to blow my gift certificate on, I'll grab this. Otherwise, anything of this lot that I would ever want, I already have. I'm gonna guess these CDs finally fell off of this wonky-ass shelf. Well, I guess that's one way of keeping everything secured. But yeah, I've long since grabbed anything I would ever want out of these. Like that Wayne's World tape, another one you could get with your Big Mac extra value meal was The Addams Family. I had this one as well at one point. And yeah, sure enough, it's a McDonald's copy. And I guess, like the Wayne's World tape, if I find nothing else today, I'll grab it. Otherwise, they had a weirdly musty, still sealed 5-tape set of no longer public domain Ernie Kovacs kinescopes. This was one of the first cassettes I ever owned, but I only ever had the tape. This is the first time I have ever seen the artwork. I guess I wasn't missing much, was I? And yeah, my dad still periodically smoked when I was little, hence a Newport tape. Well, this seems like classic archived nightmare fuel. It looks like what would normally be a standard beanbag toss game, just with ping pong balls or something this time, but with the creepy clown face, and apparently played by a Wonder Chimp, who apparently was one of the anchors of the Today Show back in the 50s? I guess the Daniel Johnston sticker got my hopes up for something a little more hip. But no, for the most part, these are pretty standard pop albums. Of course, some of which I already own. Okay, we're back in the same section where I scored those off-air tapes last year. Now, the store owner was telling me at the time that the guy that runs this booth apparently has a bunch, but it looks like none ever made it to the shelves. And yeah, a random Alf plushie, which was apparently $25 in 1984 dollars. At least that's how I choose to interpret that price tag. But yeah, I digress. No off-air tapes today. Now, I got some comments about this Star Trek II tape last year. This is not a linear stereo tape. It's a 1986-ish hi-fi reissue. They just didn't update the box. If this were truly a 1983-ish original, I would have picked it up at the time. Well, here's a notoriously bad movie, Going Bananas, with Jimmy J.J. Walker and Dom DeLuise. Hilariously, this is a reissue from the 90s, because there was totally demand for it. Now, this thing had a $5 price tag on it. I assume that means they would pay me $5 to take it, but yeah, that's not enough. Otherwise, if I get to it, I've owned a couple of Three Stooges VHS tapes just like this one. Now, these had been in print since the early 80s, and as the company name changed and logos changed, they would just awkwardly alter the company logos and stuff. But I believe these are from 1995 or so. The Stooges tapes got overhauled starting in 96. Can you tell I've owned a lot of Stooges tapes? And the modest haul from this store consists of the Unplowed Pet Rock Project by the Livingstones on Rotten Broccoli Records. Yeah, it's local, and it's an EP, hence the repeated tracks. Otherwise, since I didn't find anything else, yeah, I nabbed those 2 McDonald's tapes. Really, I guess I just need to find the old McDonald's Back to the Future tape now, and I'd have all my old tapes back. Hang on, I need to get a little farther out for a decent shot. Yeah, that should work. Anyway, on to St. Vincent de Paul, the world's most difficult thrift store to get an establishing shot at. In the CDs, some genuine classics. I have played Deja Vu many, many times over the years, but I have never owned Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's American Dream album. Yeah, the one Todd in the Shadows did one of his Train Records episodes on. Now, I've owned most of the CSN and sometimes Y albums, but never that one. A Train Record or not, for $1, I'm getting it. Otherwise, oh, come on, the Bedroom Tapes wasn't bad at all. As implied, it's Carly Simon's bedroom pop album. And yeah, I did pick out one of the Chet Atkins albums, but not one of those. I found exactly four 78s, three of which weren't exactly inspiring. Carlos Molina, The Four Lads, Les Brown with Doris Day singing, and The One Keeper being a novelty record, which I already have on 78. Hey, our second Three Stooges appearance today. So this is kind of an oddity. We've got the Joe Besser shorts and the fake Shemp shorts, as they're known, all in one easy package. For what it's worth, I already have the mega box set with all this stuff. Otherwise, they also had the preceding set with the two 3D Stooges shorts on it. And Sony did a great job. It looks great, but it only works on an old tube TV. And this is why I tend not to show the electronics sections much anymore. Don't let that Access HD name fool you. It is just a cheap RF modulator, missing the AC adapter no less. And speaking of AC adapters, I used to buy random assorted AC adapters for those times where I inevitably buy something without the adapter. You can't even do that anymore. And yes, way in the back, we've got the obligatory 35mm slide carousel, minus the slides. And the haul from St. Vincent's consists of Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's infamous American Dream album. Didn't seem that bad to me. Then I got James Taylor's Gorilla album, and I got Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins teaming up for Neck and Neck. Admittedly, guitar nerd that I can be, I've never owned a Chet Atkins album. And speaking of guitar nerd, lap and pedal steel guitars just interest me for some crazy reason. So I grabbed this one, the twin lap steel guitars of Caton Roberts and Little Roy Wiggins, purchased from Ernest Tubbs' old record store in Nashville, no less. Otherwise, I covered Summer Jam 3 years ago on a record ripoffs episode, so I had to grab Summer Jam 2, even if it's not in great shape. I gotta get my sweep breeze fix, you know? And on to today's final store, the North Side Goodwill. This one's been making kind of a comeback with me lately. An interesting mix in the cassettes today. A little rock, a little country, a little swing, etc. Now, as much as I love Pure Prairie League, that live album isn't very good. Otherwise, they had an old K-Tel compilation and some other stuff, and yeah, let's just pull a few and take a look here. So we've got one of the more obscure Golden Earring albums, which honestly looked a bit dull to me. Now, you do not see MFP, Music for Pleasure, tapes a whole lot in the US, and I had never seen one packaged like this before. Otherwise, I would not mind this Outlaws album on CD, but the few early 80s Arista tapes that I've owned have all gone some level of sticky. Otherwise, Together at Last, Excelsior, and Pickwick. This has got to be one of their first old artist re-records their hits sets. I found a whole stack of sheet music, and I'm gonna guess someone had been a piano teacher at some point. I mean, yeah, like that one. There were some guitar and ukulele ones scattered in there, but mostly very piano driven. Now, I've discussed this before, but once upon a time, I collected sheet music with pictures of silent film stars on the covers. And for the first time in at least 15 years now, I finally found one. It's kinda trashed, though. But yeah, we've got Dolores Del Rio on the cover of this copy of Ramona, which amazingly, I am already familiar with that tune. And this one's got ukulele chords. I might have to dust off my old uke for that. Granted, I can't play ukulele worth a damn. Well, I think I found the world's oldest fake book, if you will. 800 tunes in 200-ish pages. Geez, the way this thing is laid out, it almost looks like some sort of deranged medley. I love how the deeper I go into this book, it just starts looking more and more tacked on. I'm actually kind of impressed at how cheap this is. Yeah, Slim Whitman is still following me around. I really hate how sparse the VHS selections have gotten in recent years. Anyway, I remember watching Oh God with my grandfather as a kid. I actually had this very issue of this movie at one point. I've got the Blu-ray these days. But yeah, nostalgia aside, talk about a movie with a great first half and a super disappointing second half. Otherwise, this looked a little dodgy. All-time movie greats. This is a compilation of trailers on good old Bad Times video, as I like to call it. And I also recognized an archive repeat offender name on the credits there. Oh, hey, Bobby McFerrin, and it's not the Don't Worry Be Happy album. Otherwise, sweet, the replacements! Oh, never mind. Curses. Foiled again. And the haul from the Goodwill consists of 2 cassettes. Admittedly not my coolest choices, but I grabbed the MFP Kenny Rogers tape. It's the only time I've ever seen a cassette case hand the tape to you. Otherwise, I totally failed with this one. This looked like a comp with some good deep-cut instrumental hits on it, but it was the wrong tape. The correct one is still in another case in the store somewhere, so I'll have to go back sometime. Otherwise, decrepit as it is, I had to grab the Ramona sheet music. Well, this could be interesting. My love seat is currently housing some other simultaneously running archive projects, so we're going to have to try and make the floor work today. Anyway, broken down by store, the final haul for today's episode consists of, from Savers, VHS copies of the 2 Grumpy Old Men movies. Alas, the first movie is not the original issue, but the second one is. Otherwise, I got 2 CDs, John Mellencamp's Scarecrow, and a better condition copy of my old Time Life Treasury of Christmas set. Then, from 605 Antiques, I got the McDonald's VHS issues of Wayne's World and the Addams Family. And if I can get away with it, over the end credits today, I want to play a bit of the Living Stones' Unplowed Pet Rock project. It just sounded too stupid to pass up. Then, from St. Vincent's, I got Summer Jam 2, because I think I'm obligated. Then, the twin steel guitars of Caton Roberts and Little Roy Wiggins. Wiggins bearing no relation to the Shags Wiggins sisters. Then I got 3 CDs, James Taylor's Gorilla album, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young's infamous American Dream album, and Mark Knopfler and Chet Atkins' Neck and Neck. And lastly, from the Goodwill, I got the very sad-looking sheet music for Ramona from 1928, and I also got 2 cassettes. I got the Music for Pleasure Kenny Rogers tape, and my totally botched instrumental hits tape. Anyway, the cost of this haul came out to, after gift certificate, about $21. And that's it for this installment of Archive Thrifting. I'll talk to you again soon.
Hear me, I'm calling. Right I smoke a cigarette, and then I eat 5 strips of bacon. For a midday snack,
Bacon.
bacon, a whole
Bacon.
damn plate.